What's going on YouTube? It is Texans Takeover back in another video. In today's video, I have another 2026 off-season simulator. This one's a brand new one. This is a user on Twitter. I'll pull his page up right now for y'all to see. It's Mr. Stick to the Model right here. You can see building a model has already a draft simulator, and then this is what I'm using right here, the Be a GM. So if you do want to go check out his profile, go ahead right there. This is the one I'm using today, so it's pinned to his profile if you want to go use it. Go have fun with it. Go test out your own stuff. It is right there available for you. You can see he updates it a lot. I'll be able to scroll down a little bit and show you how much he updates it. Um, let's see. Hear feedback on trades, work in progress. He's doing a lot of stuff to change it. I think it's gonna be more useful than the Pro Football Network one I'm using. So I think it'll be fun. We're gonna try it out. The only discretion I have really is that the Texans are -2 million in cap, so they should be right below the Giants, 21st. Um, so maybe there's an extra restructure in there or something, but yeah, it should be a fun one. So I'm gonna head back over to the website, and I'll see y'all there. Here we are back at the website, and obviously we're going to be using our Houston Texans here. -14 million. I think it should be -2, but I mean, I could be wrong. Everything could be wrong, and I don't even know. But Daniil Hunter here, 51 million in dead cap space. This could be an extension. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I think if you give him, I think you take a 1 year, 34 million, extend plus restructure. I think that would be worth it for Daniil Hunter. So I'm going to give him a 1 year extension there. I don't know. Adds 13.5 million for us there. I think that's definitely something that the Texans should consider. Stingley, I think, is another restructure guy. I think I'll just restructure standard, um, and um, restructure opens up 15.3 million in cap space. Nico Collins, another restructure guy. Standard as well. I'm not going to add void years on any of these things. Titus Howard could be an extension. Um, I think he could require like 13 million. He's a guard. So at this point, I consider him a guard. So I'm going to pay him guard money with an extension. I think 2 years is fine. And that opens up, I think, a good amount of money, saves $13 million. So we're going to extend and restructure. Um, and that is the game plan. So save some more money by extending Titus Howard. I think that's another good opportunity there. Petrie, I think you could look to restructure. It's not that much money. So we'll see if we want to do that. Aziz, I'm going to give him a 1 year extension. Um, I think he could require about $12 million. And I think this would end up saving a good chunk of cash there. Joe Mixon's going to be a cut guy, save $8.5 million. So I'm going to cut him. Will Anderson's gonna cost a wealthy extension. Um, I'll give him 40 million over 4. I think that's fair. He might even get more. So it's going to be an extend only for me, in my opinion. I don't want to add the cap hit, to be honest, but I mean, I guess you could. It costs 14.2 million more, and then it's cheaper the years afterward. So then it makes this $25.4 million. But it's kind of a 5 year, $171 million deal instead of 160. So I'm gonna take the penalty for this year. And extend with the restructure there. Dalton Schultz, I think you could look to resign for a 1 year deal, to be honest. Um, and I don't think it'll be too expensive. Um, I'll go 11.6. I think that's fair for Dalton Schultz. And we will extend and restructure on a 1 year deal. I think that's something you could look to do. Petrie, I do want the money, so I am going to restructure with the standard type deal. Danico Autry can't cut, sadly. Um, Davis Mills, I think a guy you can look to trade. Sheldon Rankins hitting the open market. Mario Edwards, I am going to cut. Tremont Smith, I am going to cut. Other than that, Jake Hansen, I am going to cut. Justin Watson, I am going to cut. Um, Kurt Heinisch, I'm going to cut. Brevin Jordan, I'm keeping. We resign him next year. Scruggs, you could look to cut. I am going to do that. Free up the money, why not? And other than that, I think everyone else, Jamal Hill, I'm going to cut. Jarrett Patterson, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on it as well. Um, and then I think the two that I will is Johnny Carter and Jawad Jordan. just didn't really play a role. These guys all got extended. Obviously, I think Jimmy Ward's gone, so I'm going to cut him as well, and that leaves us with 78.3 million dollars in cap space. You can see extended and restructured a lot of guys. Obviously, you can look to extend CJ Stroud. I don't think it'll be all too expensive, to be honest, if you did want to extend him in this offseason, but I'm not going to, in my opinion. But we head next to trades, and um, Tony Pollard's offered to us. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna accept that, nor will I with Josh Downs. Parker Washington's interesting, but obviously never going to accept that. Tyreek Hill's never going to be the same player. Ramondre Stevenson, not the type of back I want, nor is Alvin Kamara. Tyron Tracy's interesting. Um, and for pick 165, I really wouldn't mind it because I think he's a decent back. Kenny Clark's too expensive for us, but that's interesting. I'm going to take this deal for Tyron Tracy. I think that's an interesting one. I think that's a fun one too. Um, so it addresses a need at the running back position. Um, yeah, so I think you open your players menu. No, go back to teams. Or I don't know what I just did. Hold on. Let me get back to where I was. I think I just messed something up there. Okay, I'm back at the screen I was. I haven't accepted the Tyron Tracy deal yet, but I don't know what this 34% means, but I am going to accept that Tyron Tracy trade. And we will move to free agency where um, Derek Barnett I think should be re-signed. I don't know how expensive that is or what they're asking it to be. If it's asking for 11.2, I think that's a little too much. I'll wait to the open market. Tommy Townsend, I think, is worth it. Same with Evan Ingram. Oh, okay. So you can pick. Um, yeah, I'll go. I'll go. Okay. Um, 3.8. That's fair. He was a really good punter for us this year. Um, 3-year deal for Ed Ingram. I'll go 3 for 30. I think that's fair. And it is accepted. Um, other than that, you're looking at. I mean, Foley Fadakasi for that cheap is interesting. Um, it shows the range of players that you're looking at. Derek Barnett, no, I can't give that money. Um, realistically, it should be around 6. I'd be willing to give 6/2. And I think that's very fair. Some of these deals I'm gonna force if I think they're too much. Like this, I think is a very fair deal for Derek Barnett. So I'm gonna force this. Other than that, EJ Speed again, I think that 5 million 4.5 mark is very fair for him. So that's something I'm gonna force as well. Um, I mean, Naquan Jones and Tim Settle are both rotational pieces, so I think 3 million for them is very fair. Um, I'll go 3.5 for Tim Settle. And I think that's fair. And then Naquan Jones should be at like 2 mil a year. Um, didn't really play all too much for us, so I think those are fair deals. Other than that, I think you're looking at no one else really. Maybe Dari back on a 1-year deal, and I think this is fair. Um, I mean Sheldon Rankins, yes, but he's getting up there. Same with Danico Autry. I don't think I want to spend that money on guys that are that old. And we go to free agency where you can see there's very solid options for us. George Pickens obviously not going to sign, but you have N'Kobe Dean there. Um, I mean, you have your wide receivers. Alec Pierce is going to get a lot of money this offseason. Um, you're looking for your running backs. You're looking for your tight ends like a Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna go ahead and sign Cade Mays. Market value's at 10 million, so we'll go straight at the market value. Um, and that should be accepted, and it is. So that's a big one. Brees Hall, I'm gonna go after as well. I think this is, I don't know, him or Kenneth Walker are my ideal ones. Um, and 10.4 for Brees Hall a year, I'll take every day of the week. Um, Jake Tonjes is quite expensive in this. We're down to 25 million. We've only signed two guys, so that's not great. Um, Okada was great in the Super Bowl, to be honest. But I don't really know who I'm looking for. Excuse me. I was having a drink of water. Um, you're looking for guys that can come in and be depth pieces. I just Sumo, Sumalo, sorry, excuse me, is a decent option there. Tyler Linderbaum, I went with Cade Mays instead because I think that's the more realistic option. Logan Hall's going to require a lot of money just because of how young he is. If you go look to sign him, I mean, he's going to require a lot more money than that. So, not going to do that, but I think you could look to bring in a Kobe Bryant. I think this could be a James Ferentz tight end as a backup, so I'm going to do that. We'll go a little bit below the market, see if we're able to steal Daniel Bellinger for that. 5.2 I'll do. That's fine. Um, Other than that, I think you're looking maybe Ethan Pocic. That could be a decent option along the offensive line. Taylor Tart did get re-signed in real life. Um, I think Jamal Williams could be a great back for us. Nick Cross, I really like. He's very quality safety, as it says there too. I think that could be a decent starting safety for us. Ronnie Hickman is someone I want us to go after. And I think if you get him at 10% below the market value, that's a really good deal for him. Um, so there's that. Diami Brown, I think, could be very good depth if we're losing Christian Kirk to free agency. And I think that's a very cheap deal, too, for someone like him. So if you give him 1.1, is he going to accept? Yeah, I'll pay the 1.2 every day of the week. John Franklin Myers is another guy I would like us to go after. It says go at 7.0, and that is accepted. So that's great money given out there. And then other than that, I think you're looking for depth pieces. Age, okay, sorry, Jalen Phillips is not going to be that cheap. Greg Newsome could be depth. Um, that's that. Jalen Phillips is going to be a starter somewhere. Um, But Greg Newsome could genuinely be depth somewhere. I don't think that trade really worked out for the Jags. I mean, it wasn't horrible. Um, Roger McCreary is going to be a starter somewhere. I mean, John Mechie is depth. Um, Ojabo's depth, but depth I really like. I think that's someone you can develop. Former first round pick. I think the Ravens will look to bring him back, though, especially Jesse Minter, just because he coached him at Michigan. So there's that. Martin Emerson is someone I want the Texans to sign. And if we're able to get him below the market for 3 years, every day of the week, I think that's a very good depth corner. Um, Asante Samuel Jr. had a very good year for the Steelers. We're down to our last bits and pieces of cap space here. Um, so I think you're kind of just looking at guys that can come in and do a job. But I really like how this free agency went. Um, Obviously we'll see the entire thing at the end of it, but still have a draft to go through. I think Andre Cisco could be good depth at the safety position, so we'll look to that. This is below the market. He wants the 1.9. I'll pay him the 1.9, and we'll move to the draft. I think we pretty much dominated free agency. I think that was a very good free agency period, especially with getting John Franklin Myers. It's someone that I'm increasingly wanting the Texans to go after. Um, and we let go of all these guys. Sheldon Rankins is getting replaced by someone that I think is better. Miles Bryant, I guess I would like to bring back, in my opinion, but um, obviously don't have the money anymore, so there is that. But we will continue over to the draft, and we'll go full draft um, and start our 7 round draft. We traded 168 for Tyron Tracy, and we still got Brees Hall, so we have a very solid running back room, and we will start it here. From number one. Um, it's going quite slow, but I don't mind the speed that we're going at because I think we can talk for a little bit, talk about all things Texans just for a little bit. Let me know what y'all want in this draft. I think that's an interesting debate as of now. What direction we want us to go in. We can see the Trade Center. Future draft capital, future draft capital. But future draft capital from the Saints, I think, could be important. But I'm going to reject both offers and just go with our pick here because I really like the idea of bringing in a Caleb Banks. Um, I don't know if it shows all our needs, but apparently we have an edge need. Um, we have a D tackle need and a nose tackle need. And this can be a nose tackle for you. Um, Obviously, Monroe Freeling's an interesting one, especially um, with losing Trent Brown. I think you could look to that, but I think Ian Atcher at 44 would be great if we can get him at 38. Um, and then down the board, Blake Miller, I really like at 56 too. AJ Halsey down the board, I would like with our ladder pick at 59, or Big Citrus. So maybe the pick isn't, um, you know, Caleb Banks here, but one of my favorite players in the draft. I don't get the opportunity to draft him on PFF a lot, so I am going to pull the trigger here at 28, and then hope there's one of the better tackles available to us um, at 38, which it looks like there will be. But there is also interior offensive lineman, which I think could be great. But I think Ian Atchor, if he's available, eh, I'm gonna move down 3 spots with the Commanders. I think getting future draft capital from them could be nice. I I really like Jaden Daniels as a quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but the instability of his health is really a concern for me. I feel like he gets injured all too much for a quarterback. So I think you should try to bank on that, similar to what you already did. And you're still here at 41 with the opportunity to um, get Emmanuel Pregnon, get Ian Atchor. And what I'm actually going to do is create a trade. So I don't know what we picked up from future draft capital for next year. A fourth round pick there from the Commanders was the extra draft capital. So we'll throw that into a trade, and then we'll throw that in 128, hopefully, um, to move to 142. I don't know how much value. Okay, it'll likely be rejected, but if we give 106, we'll propose it. Slightly better compensation. Okay, I think that's fair. Um, Do they need guard? Not really. So if we could look to 43, um, with this, this, and this that we picked up, and it's been accepted. Okay, so you move up to 43, giving up 59, I believe it was, but we still have 69, so that's why I'm not too mad at it. And um, I really think the Saints are going to go with Chris Brazzell here, so I'm going to pull the trigger on Emmanuel Pregnon. Um, eh, no. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the trigger on Emmanuel Pregnon. You can't have enough offensive linemen, in my opinion, and they do exactly what I just thought they would, and went with Chris Brazzell. Here at 43, I think it's Ian Atcher all the way. But you can move down and get 82. Um, ooh, ooh, that's really difficult to pass up, to be honest. Um, they're not going tackle. They're not going tackle. I don't think they'd go tackle. I don't think they'd go tackle. They'd go tackle. Minnesota would go tackle too. But I think they want to move up to get a D'Angelo Ponzer or Chris Johnson. So maybe you trade down and skip out on Ian Etcher, which I'm gonna do. I just think this is too good value. Um, and if Ian Etcher goes, he goes. But I don't think okay, he goes there to the Colts, which is fair. Um, but I think picking up 49 means you can still go with Blake Miller, who I really like, to stick him at right tackle. Um, And that's exactly what I'm going to do. But you pick up more draft capital with another third round pick at 82, which I think is in a really good spot. So we can look to see who gets drafted. Jadarian Price goes right there. Don't really need him though. And Chase Basantis would be a great pick for us. Um, you could look to an edge rusher. Um, but I think I'm gonna go with um, we let no, we did not let go of Derek Barnett. I think this could be a trade down spot. I don't mind that value from the Bills. I think I want a little bit more. Um, Darrell Jackson Jr. really stands out, but we did get Caleb Banks, so there's that. Um, I guess you can look at your needs, um, and you can see we crossed out three of them. You still need another D tackle in their opinion. You need an edge. You need a running back. You need an outside linebacker. Um, So I guess you can look at the outside linebackers. Kyle Lewis is someone I really like. I think that could be the pick at 82. Um, at safety, I think you could look for another option there. I know we did get Cisco, but I really like Bud Clark down the board. I think this is a trade down spot, to be honest. You could look to running back if you want to. Oh, am I done? Did Jadarian Price not go? He did not. Okay. Well, never mind. Um, we got Tyrone Tracy and we got Brees Hall though. So I don't think running back's really a need in this. So I am going to trade down. Screw it. I'm pulling the trigger on the trade down. Um, and we will move back to, I think 86 is great with like 107. No, that's too little or too much. Hmm. We'll try this. No, too much apparently. I think that's fair. But we're gonna try to keep building a trade. We'll see. Don't really have anything I want in particular. Cincinnati, no, not really. No, not really. Kansas City either. This and this I do, and it's accepted. Okay, I think that's a decent deal for us. We move back, but we pick up another pick. Um, and Jadarian Price goes there at 71. Obviously, someone I'd like, but I think with how we invested in this draft, it's not really a need for us to address those positions. Um, And I think this is the perfect opportunity to go pick up a Kyle Lewis, in my opinion. Um, Derek Moore's still there. I mean, this could be a guy that's one of your rotational edge rushers. That's one of the best players in this class. Um, so I'm pulling the trigger, and yeah, I mean, absolute great draft if you're able to get Derek Moore to be a depth piece at the edge position, and then you're still able to get Kyle Lewis to fill your um, EJ Speed kind of position. Is what I would expect him to play for us. Obviously, Jacob Rodriguez could do the same thing, but I really like Kyle Lewis as an athlete. Um, so that's why the pick went there. There goes Bud Clark. I mean, I don't really care too much about the safety position. Um, after how well we addressed it. But look to trade. We can get two more picks here. We can get 118 and 155 for moving down or seven spots. I think that's pretty easy. So I'm gonna do that. Michael Taft does go there. Keelan Rutledge goes there. That's a little annoying. But I think this could be a running back uh, pick here. But I think this could also be a tight end spot. And I really like the idea of Jack Injuries with how good of a blocker he is. Similar to Max Clare as a prospect. Um, So, I've talked about Max Clare a lot in the past. Anything I've really said about him, you could say the same exact thing for Jack Injuries. Um, and I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that. Um, yeah, I am. Jack Injuries here at 121, I think is fair. Um, and then we pick again at 128, where we can go back to the outside linebacker position if we want to, with Harold Perkins Jr. I think this could be another D tackle spot, though. I really like the idea of a Demonte Capehart as a Texan, or even a Bo Stevens or Sam Hecht. We did get Cade Mays, though, on a 3-year deal, so I'm not going to pull the trigger on that. Um, Kieran Crawford, I like, but I think more down the board than anything with Kieran Crawford. Guys down the board that I like, um, I mean, Trey Moore, I like. I think he's going to be a linebacker in the NFL, though, not an edge. Um, Rayshon Benny, I like. I thought he was really good. Um, in the Senior Bowl, same with Sam Roosh. I like him as a blocking tight end. Cole Wisniewski, too. Cole Brevet, I like. Tanner Colgill, y'all know how much I like him. Robert Henry as well. Mike Washington Jr. all the way down the board there. I really like the idea of him as a Texan, so I think that could be something that fills up our running back need. And do we have a pick in that range? No, we do not. So maybe you want to build a trade. Maybe you don't, but I like the idea of Cam Coleman as a Texan, to be honest. But we did address our wide receiver depth with Diami Brown. Um, so I'm not going to do that. I think I am going to trade out of this pick and try to pick some extra down the board. Um, and I think this is the best trade altogether. So we'll do that with the Raiders. Move down just slightly. And Kevin Coleman, excuse me, is still there. So I think that's pretty easy to say yes to, in my opinion. Especially with Sam Hecht and Bo Stevens going right there. I think I'm just gonna pull the trigger on Kevin Coleman Jr. to be some slot depth if we do need a slot receiver in case Tank Dell is not who we think he is. I think Kevin Coleman could come in and do a decent job there if we're not planning on using Jalen Noel, which we didn't last year, and I don't know why. Here at 155, Grayson Holton's there. He's slim, yeah, but I really like him as a prospect, so I think I'm just gonna go with that there. I really like the way he dominated the Senior Bowl and throughout the entire season. I thought he was very good, so um, I'm gonna make that easy pick there, in my opinion. And then we move to 174 with Rayshon Benny going right there, Pat Coogan going right there. Team reaching on Pat Coogan, but I don't think it's really a reach. Here at 174, Jamari Taylor impressed me. Um, and I really like the prospect that he is. I really like Chase Roberts too. Um, I mean, this seems like it has to be a tight end pick, but it's not going to be because I already selected Jack Hendries and then I already paid for Daniel Bellinger. So you do have your three tight ends along with Brevin Jordan coming back next year. Um, so maybe it is a trade. And if you could get some future draft capital in there, I wouldn't mind something like this plus this. Um, I think would be fine. You're kind of moving down to get Mike Washington there, and then you're getting some extra draft capital. No, okay, fair enough. Guess it's not the place to go. Um, I mean, some teams have double stack picks like the Lions exactly. I think if you could get a sixth rounder, how are they offering 9? Um, that was 8. That was 5 plus 3. I'm confused, but whatever. Um, Arizona, no, not really. Titans, no. Giants, yes, but that's gonna be 9. It's 10. Okay, I think that's fair. They do have back-to-back picks, but I think if you pick up an extra pick next year, unless you can get this, no. Okay, I think I'll do that Giants deal. Um, with 191 and a. I mean, if I do this, give him a sixth from next year, so we pick swap next year. Um, I think that's fair. No, okay, it's not apparently. Um, maybe the Lions would end up being a fair deal then if I give them a sixth from next year or a seventh from next year even. Um, okay, thank you. Some logic. Um, and we move down a little bit. They do end up going with Jamari Taylor. My concern is getting Mr. Mike Washington Jr. here. Oh no, this is 187. Or is this what we traded for? Is this what we ended up trading for? Yeah, it is. Okay. Um, so yeah, this is gonna be the Mike Washington pick. I think that's pretty easy to do. I mean, Tanner Cole's, yeah, I'd love, but we've gone with so many tight ends. So we're just gonna go with Mike Washington Jr. here, and then wait for our pick. even further down the board at like 243, I think, if I didn't trade it. Yeah, 243 and 244 we still have. Um, so we're just waiting for that. Let me know what y'all think about this website. I really like it. Obviously, there's some refining to do. He understands that too. But I think I'm trying to give it the publicity it deserves because it does deserve a lot of publicity. It's not easy for a guy with a regular job to be doing these things. And I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. Um, I mean, Kojiel's still there. I think VJ Payne's the easy one for safety depth. I really liked him at the Senior Bowl. And then with our last pick, um, I guess we addressed every need, but I think you go with backup nickel. I'm gonna go with Tyron Montgomery. Why not? Have some fun. Um, I think Luke Altmaier is probably a smart pick there, who goes to the Patriots. But Tyron Montgomery, I just really like him. They give us a B off-season grade. Cap ceiling, rollover, total committed. Um, yeah, I think it ended up being a really really nice job. Um, Cutting all these guys here, restructuring only 3 players, extending a decent amount. Picking up Tyron Tracy, which I think is an underrated move, and then signing all these guys right here. Townsend, Ingram, Barnett, Speed, Settle, Jones, Ngabwale, Mays, Hall, Bellinger, Hickman, Brown, Franklin Myers, Emerson, Cisco. And then picking Banks, Pregnon, Miller, Moore, Lewis, Injuries, Coleman, Grayson Holton, Mike Washington Jr., VJ Payne, and Tyron Montgomery. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about this entire thing down in the comment section below. I had a lot of fun. Please go show the creator of this some love. I think he did a great job making this, and it's only going to get better in the future. So I think it's going to be even more fun in the future. Um, but yeah, he did an incredible job with this. I think everything's pretty accurate. I really like the values and stuff like that. Obviously, they can be tweaked a little bit, but I think it was great. So yeah, go show him some love. I'm going to leave his Twitter down in the description. Go show him some love. Maybe go like a post, go comment or something on one of them. Tell him how much, if you do use the site, how much you like it, things that he might need to refine and stuff like that. Any feedback's good feedback, even if it's negative. So yeah, just go show him some love because I really did enjoy doing this. His username is StickToTheModel on Twitter. It's just gonna be down in the description. But yeah, he did a great job with this. I had a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, subscribe. Let me know what I could do different. You can see our updated depth chart here too, which is very interesting. Um, with Kevin Coleman being our wide receiver 5, um, or 4. Obviously, Brees Hall is going to be um, our new RB1. Tracy, our RB3, RB2, maybe. Um, Injuries probably up the depth chart alongside Daniel Bellinger, Blake Miller to be our starting right tackle. Um, Pregnon maybe as a starting guard too, though. That could be something you look at. And then defensively, Caleb Manks to be a starting D tackle. Grayson Holton to maybe even be a starting D tackle. Derek Moore to rotate in. Kyle Lewis to rotate in maybe at that strong side linebacker or weak side linebacker. He could even start at Emerson to be good depth. Roddy Hickman to be a starter maybe at free safety, or Cisco to start at free safety. I think this was a really, really good draft. So let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Again, please let me know. I really like it, how it turned out. I really like how smooth it was. So yeah, go show them some love. And as always, it's Texans Takeover, and I'm out. Peace.